Dr. Kathy McFarland.
And I am Mark Bobo, and welcome to the OSBA Forum. Kathy, spring is in the air.
Spring is in the air, and that means graduation?
Yes.
Prom?
Yes.
What else do I have on my thing? Spring sports.
Yes.
That was the most frustrating, was those spring sports, right?
Yeah.
The afternoons were spent, is the rain going to keep us out, or the field's going to be wet? So spring is always fun in the schoolhouse.
Is the sun going to be right on my bald head,
Oh,
beaming on
is that
top?
what you're worried about?
That's what I worry
Yes,
about. Yeah.
yes.
But
So-
no, it's a great time. In my household, we're getting ready for graduation, and so it's a little bittersweet.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
but you know, we're getting adjusted for that. But of
It's
course,
exciting, though.
it is exciting. He's going to take the next steps, and I'm going to try to hide all my tears.
Yeah, you can't live in the dorm with them. That's a no-no.
He did make that clear.
I bet. Good.
But we're also excited for our board members because we are anxiously anticipating going towards BLI, which is our Board Leadership Institute, May 3rd and 4th at the Polaris Hilton. I know each of our board members have registered, but this is just a friendly reminder. Go to ohioschoolboards.org, register for that conference because it is the only conference for school board members solely by school board members. Looking forward to a great time.
Yes, we are.
So as always, we're delighted to bring the OSBA Forum to you. Your association continues its commitment to keeping you informed of the great happenings within public education. As educational leaders, we are tasked with preparing the next generation to positively contribute to society. That pursuit has influenced the programming that our schools provide to the students they serve. We have learned that most of our graduates enter into the following categories. We call them the 4 E's. They enroll in college and university, they enlist in armed services, and even some begin entrepreneurial opportunities. However, most of our graduates move into employment or into the workforce immediately after graduation. We've even seen our governor prioritize workforce development, both in his words and actions, specifically through our state budget. We are also seeing the exponential growth in technical and logistical industry in our state. And these opportunities are looking for work-ready students. And Kathy, our guest today, can help us understand how our workforce education is making an impact here in the state of Ohio.
Yes, thank you. And we are really excited. We are pleased to welcome Dee Smith, the Executive Director of the Ohio Association for Career and Technical Education. Forging an untraditional path to her current position, she served as a legal assistant before becoming a lobbyist, representing clients' interests in a variety of roles around the Capitol for more than 20 years. During her career, she successfully represented corporations and trade associations in numerous areas, specializing in environmental issues, healthcare, and education. She has represented the interests of Ohio's career tech schools and students throughout the state before the Ohio General Assembly and statewide offices. As an alumni and Hall of Fame inductee of Fairfield Career Center, she is an advocate for career technical education and the advantages such education has to offer. Dee, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. I know I just said a few things about you. Can you tell us a little bit more about you and your background?
Sure. So as you noted, I am a career technical completer. I graduated from Eastland Fairfield Career Center in a program that no longer exists. It was Legal Office Technology. My class was one of the last classes to take that. We joked that the abbreviation was LOT in our class was a lot, so they decided to do away with it. But not only am I a completer, but my children are also completers. So my daughter is a graduate of the pre-nursing program at Eastland Fairfield Career Center, and my son is a current welding student at Eastland Fairfield. So it has become a family thing.
Yeah.
I joke, listen to you guys talk about spring sports, and my husband was a varsity softball coach for many years, and my daughter played softball, and countless afternoons of is it or isn't it, and it's 80 one day and it's snowing the next.
Right.
Yeah, so heavily involved in our community over the years through different educational aspects, but career technical education really laid all of the groundwork and the pathway for me to be where I am today.
Excellent. And we're going to talk a lot about what she just explained with her family and things that students can do. But right now, can you give us an overview of the association's mission and how it ties into how it will affect Ohio students?
Sure. Ohio ACTE's mission is to help prepare both students and our teacher educators to be next ready. And we talk about being next ready. It's not just one pathway for a student, right? We want to make sure our students and our parents understand that whatever their student chooses to do next, they're ready to do, whether that's be an entrepreneur, whether that's go directly into employment, whether that is to enroll and go into a 2-year or a 4-year institution, no matter what that is, as a career technical student, they're ready to do the next thing. The same thing with our teachers. We want to make sure all of our teachers, our career technical education teachers, have robust professional development so they can help make those students next ready. So we're not just talking about secondary students, we're not just talking about teachers, we're talking about both. And then also, the often overlooked side is our post-secondary career technical side with Ohio Technical Centers. So we have adult education at 49 Ohio Technical Centers across the state. And that presents an opportunity to make young adults and even middle-aged adults, or some of us who are a little past middle age, next ready if they have, right, maybe life has given them a circle that they didn't expect. And now they're back and they're trying to figure out where they want to go next. So how do we help make those folks next ready too through the Ohio Technical Centers?
That's great.
Well, can you share with us some of the successful partnerships that OACTE has had over the years? Share some of those with us.
Sure. So Ohio ACTE is just under 6,300 members strong. But there are other career technical associations in the state because there are 3 different delivery models of career technical education: joint vocational school districts, compact districts, and comprehensive districts. And everybody has their own little piece of the pie. And we partner with 2 other associations, the Ohio Association of Career Technical Superintendents and the Ohio Association of Comprehensive and Compact Schools, to make sure that we're helping meet the needs of all career technical education throughout the state. So that's one partnership. Other partnerships include the fact that one of our divisions, the Ohio Career Technical Administrators, we partner heavily with the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce to deliver top-level, high-quality professional development for our career technical administrators across the state. And then you all mentioned earlier Governor DeWine and Lieutenant Governor Husted. We have worked with them over the last probably 6 years, maybe longer, as you talk about Governor DeWine and Lieutenant Governor Husted and how their longevity in Ohio politics, to help them understand the benefits of career technical education, show them success stories, and the partnerships that we've had with them, and the $300 million investment that we had in career technical education for facilities expansion and equipment expansion this year, which all results in more students being able to pursue career technical education pathways. That has been, one of our most successful partnerships.
Kathy and I were discussing, as we prepared for our time today, how often we would work with students and we would have to convince, coerce, intentionally encourage participation at the Career Center. And we seem to be fighting against a stigma. One of them, if you really couldn't cut it at the traditional school, maybe a Career Center might be a better option. But also, sometimes our kiddos didn't want to be away from their friends that were at the high school. How are you all encouraging or getting more students to see the great opportunities that Career Centers have to offer?
One of the things we talk about most intentionally is, even if you leave to go to a joint vocational school district, you can still participate in nearly every activity at your home school, and making sure parents and students understand that. Secondly, comprehensive school districts, you never have to leave the 4 walls of your traditional high school to take career technical. It is there, you never leave, it's right there within your own school. Compacts, you're probably there a half of a day and at a different school the other half of the day, so you're still being there. The biggest expansion we're seeing right now, though, is within the joint vocational school district with what we refer to as satellite programs. So joint vocational school districts are going into their associate schools and starting programs in the traditional high school, running those programs alongside the local school district, and providing more opportunities for students to realize career technical education. I think the other item that we're realizing is the stigma is starting to shift. Definitely when I made the decision to go to career technical school, there was a definite social bias regarding the decision I was making. Thankfully, I had the full support of my parents to do it. But looking through where we are today, we have the success stories to show that it's not a one or the other. When I was inducted into the Hall of Fame, there was myself, there was the special effects designer for The Walking Dead. She had went through a career technical education program. She had also taught career technical education, and she was using all of those items in her special effects. She went through a demo program, but she was using all of the things she learned to create the special effects for The
that's
Walking
interesting,
Dead
yeah.
on their costumes. We had a neurologist, I believe, and we had a hip hop artist who had signed a contract in LA. So when we talk about the success stories of it's not the 1955 version of vocational education. It is truly a high flyer career technical education. You can do anything you want with it. We're changing the conversation about what students and parents think about the pathway.
Yeah, that's so important because as we're noticing, even particularly in my community, there's a lot of movement in regards to industry, Intel, Facebook, all of the above, right, are coming to make Ohio the Silicon Valley of the Midwest. Our question is, what are you all doing? What initiatives do you have that are making sure that what you all do align with what the workforce that's coming in is expecting and needs to fill those
Sure.
jobs?
I'll talk specifically about the $300 million investment that we made in the budget this year for facilities and equipment. All of those applications needed to be aligned to what is referred to as the top jobs or the critical jobs list for Ohio. And those are identified by the state and labor market metrics. And so we know that those are the jobs that employers are looking for. Alongside that, we have advisory councils. So every pathway has to have an advisory committee that works with that program. And then you have business advisory councils even at the county level. We meet our schools, our teachers, our instructors, our work-based learning coordinators are all meeting with their regional economic development folks, their business leaders, saying, what do we need in this area? And when we open a program, it has justification for why we're opening it. We're going to have longevity for kids to have employment in that field moving forward, or it's aligned to the statewide top jobs or critical jobs list. So we know they can go to any four corners of the state and find employment.
Can community members or families find that list, the information you just spoke to, the top jobs?
Yes, if you Google or search, which Bing, Meta, whatever search engine you want to use, I'm not going to show
We don't
any
promote
bias.
any.
Not promoting anybody. But if you go on the web and search Ohio Top Jobs, it will take you to the Ohio Top Jobs list. It is extremely searchable. You can sort it out by critical. You can sort it out by in demand, region. It's very searchable. I was on the phone with somebody that was complaining. They are of a more wisdom age, as some of us are, and they said it's too small. If you go down in the corner, you can download it and blow it up. So yes, it's very searchable. It's very accessible.
Yeah, good.
How is your association? You know, some of our members, they're in pockets where a career center may not be very close to them. How is OACTE ensuring that some of that program is inside of some of their local schools, that the kids can have ready access to it?
Yeah. One of the largest opportunities we have right now is regarding capacity and expansion. And we are talking very intentionally about how we can be solutions oriented to bring more players into the game. And some of that will be surrounding satellite programs that we talked about earlier, and evaluating what's needed in that area, what are students interested in, and what can we start that will not be duplicative of what's already been invested, right? We don't need 611 welding labs across the state in every high school. What we may need is 300 new business programs or pre-nursing programs or phlebotomy programs, right? What can we start with intentionality, pre-engineering programs? What can we start with intentionality that are still high in demand for their region, and students are willing and want to take and be interested in?
Yeah, you have to have all three of those.
Yes.
Critical, yeah.
So what opportunities are our students finding once they do graduate with a career tech education?
Well, really, right now in this economy, the world is at their feet because employers look at their resume and they see a career technical education. They probably also see, as they've graduated through that CTE pathway, an industry recognized credential. So the employer knows exactly what that student knows how to do, how they've been trained, that they've passed an industry recognized test, and they say, absolutely, we want that student. The other piece that traditional CTE students have, that a traditional 2-year 4-course pathway, are what we called in my day employability skills, and then they were referred to as soft skills, and now I think the evolution is professional skills. So they know how to look someone in the eye and speak to them. They know how to introduce themselves and shake a hand. They know how to show up on time. They know how to complete their shift. They have all of the training that makes them a good employee. So you look at the healthcare field, there's a beautiful new building at OSU that needs an all of the above approach. So they need support staff, they need STNAs, they need PCAs, they need phlebotomists, they need medical records technicians, they need nurses. We need to make sure, though, that our students understand that the pathway isn't, even if it's pre-nursing, there are all of these other pathways that come off of it. So healthcare, advanced manufacturing, clearly we've mentioned Intel, Honda, EV, electrical, and all of the industries that surround that in the Central Ohio, which is actually going to spread further than Central Ohio when you think about it. All of their suppliers are going to come to Ohio. So you need to think about all of those ancillary businesses that will be there. So the answer is all of the above. You can do just about anything that you want. And one of the things that we see happen pretty regularly is a student who decides, you know what, I had such success in my career technical pathway, I do think I want to go on to a 4-year college or a 2-year college and get that bachelor's or associate's, and they use their career technical education to get the employer to pay for it, right? So they're working while they're going to school and they're getting tuition reimbursement.
Wow.
So there are many different pathways that pop off of the career technical education pathway where they're finding success right now.
Yeah, and I think soft skills is now durable skills.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And I had read a research piece that said 7 out of the 10 skills that most employers are looking for are those durable skills. Can you collaborate? Can you work in a group?
right.
Can you self-manage? Those type of things. And you've talked about this a little bit, but maybe if you want to expand a little bit on if students want to expand their skills after they graduate, what options are available to them?
Yeah, so you're right, we did talk about it a little bit. Ohio Technical Centers are at 49 in the state. They are going to be a short term if you didn't quite achieve the credential that you wanted, or there's an additional credential that you think you want to pursue, or maybe, I've seen this happen, maybe you took electrical is your secondary pathway and you've decided that electrical isn't necessarily where you want to be. I really want to go into welding. Maybe you go to that Ohio Technical Center and complete that in less than a year, and now you have another certificate that makes you more marketable to be electrical or welding, right? Or you have, as a base pathway, everyone is college ready when you graduate from Ohio's high schools. So you can go on to a 2-year, you can go on to a 4-year, and as I said, I've seen physicians, I've seen attorneys, nurses. It's all there. It's all possible. We've also started to see an upsurge in those students who have success starting their own business. So in the advent of YouTube and social media and makers markets and Etsy and all of the interconnectedness that we have now, being able to market themselves and build their own business has been a new pathway that we probably, I would say, in the last 5 to 8 years that we've noticed where students are just going ahead and starting straight into their own business. Some of them do it while they're still in high school.
That makes a lot of sense. If I have a skill, I can go on my own. That's great. So what is the future of career tech education, and where do you see it in the next 5 or 10 years, and who will be influencing career tech?
It's a great question. And I think we're in a period where we're about to see, we've already seen rapid growth in the last 5 years. I think we're going to see even more growth. And I have talked about the fact that I think we'll experience some growing pains. We have facilities that are being built. We have equipment that is being purchased to expand opportunities. But how do we have more people come into the system, more provider into the system, but maintain the same high level of quality that our students and our employers have become accustomed to? It is a short-term certificate is not the same thing as a 2-year 4-course workforce development pathway, and we need to make sure that we maintain the quality both for the students and for the workforce. So the rapid growth that we're going to see in how we deliver career technical education in a variety of different ways, I think is one of our biggest opportunities and one of our biggest challenges. More satellite programs, more traditional K-12 coming on board and saying, we think we can be a good partner and deliver high quality. It's going to be a very interesting time over the next 5 to 10 years about how we are intentionally providing capacity for students. But that's where we're headed, more in different ways.
Yeah. Great conversation. If there's one thing, G, that you'd like for our audience to remember, to think about, or something that you didn't have an opportunity to speak to today, what would that be?
You know, we touched on at the very beginning making sure our students are next ready. I was with a group of aspiring CTE teachers last week, and CTE teachers generally come from industry. So there is an industry professional who has decided to come back into the secondary system and teach high school students. Bless them, right? And talking about the fact that I want to make sure that students, parents, teachers all understand that the student who completed a advanced manufacturing pathway or completed an automotive pathway or completed a pre-engineering pathway, they are next ready.
Yes.
Right? Just because they completed that pathway in that topic with that credential doesn't mean they can't go on to do something else. And when I was talking to the aspiring CTE teachers, I said, how many of you expected to be 40 or 45 and sitting in an OSU classroom preparing to be a CTE teacher, and nobody's hand went up because nobody expects that, right? You all had teaching careers before you came to the association. I had a government relations career before I came to my association. You don't know what's next. So making sure that everybody is prepared to be next ready and move forward with whatever the next thing is. So that's my message. When I talk to students, I always say, be ready to say yes, right? Say yes to the next thing.
Yeah. Right. Awesome. Well, Director Dee Smith, thank you so much for being here today, and thank you for your entire association as you all are preparing our students to be next ready. That's what I'm walking away with.
Yeah, I like that.
I like it a lot. So Kathy, you know, I think about even for my children and the students that we served, there's some great opportunities that they just need to take advantage of that are at our career centers.
Yes, and I think I would recommend just always having your children start with their counselor at school, right?
Yes.
Where are these resources? And you gave us some good resources, and we'll make sure that we put that on our website so that you can, as a family, take a look at what's available, what resources are available.
Definitely, definitely.
So thank you to our membership for your leadership in your local communities. And if there's any way that our OSBA team can help you, please contact us. We're here as a resource to you, our membership. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for being here at the OSBA Forum.